Okay, trainers, if I suddenly disappear, if I poofed, keep a watch on the Pokemon Unite socials on their company because I am cooking right now. If you see something suspicious and I'm gone, they probably did it. I'm just kidding. I think I figured out a ton of Pokemon who are literally going to be in the game sooner or later. But quick disclaimer, this is just a theory. I've spoken about this theory in the past about a number of Pokemon come to the game from this list that I found. And guess what? They did. They did come to the game. And now we only have a few left. The list that I talked about like a year ago, it was like 12 out of the 29 Pokemon. And from that list of 29 Pokemon, we went from 12 being in the game to now 21 of them in the game. It's a huge jump. Only 8 of them are left from this list. And honestly, at this point, likely come into the game because I would be surprised if they just stopped, if they were just like, you know what, we followed this list, but screw the other 8. I'm going to share with you those 8 Pokemon. I would love to know what you think. By the way, I made a Patreon if you'd like to support me and my channel. The link is down below. Thank you to my lovely patrons who've joined so far. Let's jump into it. So this list was based on the most popular Pokemon of all time. Pokemon released an official list. Japan released another one later, which also comes into play. I have spoken about it and I will make another video based on that list because that list is also pretty long and will probably be the next list after this list. I will probably have it out this week at some point. So if you're already subscribed, about to be notified for that. Also in this video, I will also show some Meowscarada gameplay, which I've never seen before, reacted to before, and I cannot wait because Meowscarada is someone that I'm really looking forward to. So that will be in this video as well. Last time I made this video, here is who we had from this list and also the Pokemon that I predicted before they were announced or leaked. We had Greninja, Lucario, Charizard, Sylveon who came from the Switch launch, Garchomp, Gengar, Bulbasaur, Rowlet and Decidueye who came in with the Halloween leak, Pikachu, Eevee who was in the game with Sylveon, and Snom who was in the game as an NPC Pokemon in the Aurora game mode, I think. That was 12 out of the 29 Pokemon on the list the first time I made it. But now, since then, and this is why I think this list is completely legit at this point, Rayquaza is now in the game from the list as probably the most annoying thing in the game because, you know, we also have Umbreon who is now in the game as one of the most strongest Pokemon releases with its never dying personality. It just doesn't want to die. It just says no. I say no to death. Dragapult who has danced its way into Unite. Tyranitar who could take down the whole enemy team by itself at that time. Aegislash who shinged my mental health. Chandelure. I can't think of a witty way to introduce this one. Oh wait, I'm just kidding. That's the best I could do because he's kind of like a fancy light bulb. And Zoroark. I love Zoroark's design as a Pokemon and I'm happy that's in the game, but I really want Hisuian Zoroark. That would be sick. Now with that, it's 19 out of the 29 Pokemon in the game. That's the Pokemon we got in the game the last time I made the list. This would be the 3rd video. Now, wow, I just can't believe it. These are the Pokemon, like I was already convinced that this list was legit, but they added 2 more after that, which really just solidified it for me. To start things off hot, Blaziken, who is already announced, who is coming tomorrow and is kicking a storm up with his release. Such a popular Pokemon. Blaziken will be an all-rounder and I'm just really excited about this one. Then to make it even better, Mimikyu is also officially announced and is part of the list. With Blaziken and Mimikyu officially coming, that brings it to 21 out of the 29 Pokemon on the list that have made it into the game since I found this list. It used to be around 45% of the list when I first talked about it. Now we have like 8 Pokemon left from this list. Only 8 Pokemon. And that to me just screams this list is the list that Pokemon Unite wants to use for its releases. I don't know. Oh, and I also forgot about Gardevoir, who was also released after as well. So there's actually 22 Pokemon, not 21. So there is still only 8 left, but it's 22 out of the 30. Oh, that's crazy. 22 out of 30 Pokemon we have on the roster. I don't know why this list, but it is the most popular Pokemon. But they do have like times when they venture out to like other Pokemon that people don't talk about, like Dodrio or like Greedent, who I've grown to love. Maybe not Dodrio as much. You'll love the rest of the Pokemon we have left, trainers. It's pretty crazy. For the question of the day, which Pokemon of this list are you most excited for? Again, a disclaimer, I just really want to stress out that this is just a theory. It doesn't mean they're going to come for sure 100%, but with all the Pokemon that have came so far from this list, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. First we have is Sceptile, maybe I'm saying it wrong, Sceptile, another fan favorite, another favorite of mine. Not Sceptile specifically, it is such a cool Pokemon. It is a grass type Pokemon. It looks, the design is just amazing. It is one of my favorite childhood starters, Trico from the anime. That's why I loved it so much. Sceptile, honestly, if it does come, I think it would be a speedster. And I honestly think that it would come like, if it did, it wouldn't be this year. It would be like next year probably, because I think we're already done for starters coming this year. Like, Blaziken, Inteleon, etc. I had a leak which I think was for Blaziken at the time, and I think that was the last starter we're gonna have this year. But don't quote me on this, I have no idea, but we do know that Mimikyu, Meowscarada, Metagross at some point will be coming, and we don't have many months left of this year, so if this Pokemon does come, I think it would be for next year. Next we have is Flygon. Flygon is another favorite that I actually get in my comments quite a bit. Flygon is super adorable. It's a ground and dragon type Pokemon, and I honestly think it would be likely an attacker, but with Flygon I would also like to talk about Lycanroc, and I'll tell you why. A rock type Pokemon who has 3 different evolutions: midnight, midday, and dusk form. This Pokemon probably will have a bunch of different playstyles, and Pokemon Unite's new thing is to release Pokemon with different stances, forms, etc. So Lycanroc would totally be up their alley. Interestingly, Lycanroc and Flygon are the only Pokemon that are left from this chocolate collection, which I find pretty funny. But can you imagine if we just get a leak from chocolates? It's not far-fetched because everyone else is on there, like Mimikyu and Glaceon, Mew, etc. All Pokemon that are released after. Metagross is also on there too, who was leaked as well and will likely be announced at a later date. Munchlax in the corner is a nice touch too. But I feel it just kind of solidifies it a bit more, like with Lycanroc and Flygon at least coming, because everyone on this little chocolate thing is coming, and I think it's also based on really popular Pokemon, so I have no idea. Next we have is Toxtricity, an electric and poison type Pokemon. I think there was a leak for this Pokemon a very long time ago, like it was a possible Pokemon in the data mine, but I don't remember the source. However, that was such a long time ago and nothing ever came out of it, so it's probably safe to say that it's likely not happening and maybe wasn't from a legit source. But this Pokemon on a poll I did forever ago was the winner. It was so wanted, and if it comes to the game, I think it'd likely be an attacker. It has such low stats for everything but high stats for special attack. The next one is honestly something that I've grown to really like, and I don't know why, but Hydreigon, I think that's how you say it, another dragon type who is also dark. This Pokemon is super violent and destructive, apparently attacks anything that moves, so I wonder what kind of passive this Pokemon would have in Unite. Maybe something against stealth Pokemon too. I think Hydreigon would be a fierce attacker. Also, it's just the lore of it that gets me really interested in it. I really like lore for things, so like the Pokemon lore is just so cool. It's one of the reasons why I like Mimikyu so much, because the lore of it is just really interesting. But this Pokemon just sounds so destructive and chaotic, and I just don't know, I'm really on board with that. Next we have is Lugia. Okay, so Lugia is a staple from my childhood. It's a psychic and flying legendary Pokemon. If Lugia were to come to the game, I don't know if it would be a playable Pokemon. I feel like it's just too legendary to play. Do you know what I mean? Like when I think about Mewtwo and things like that, I could say, yeah, I can see myself playing that. But as Lugia, no, like I'm not about to feed my brains off as Lugia. It could be playable. I just get the hunch that it wouldn't be. But if it did come to the game, it would more likely be part of the new map, like Rayquaza's map. But this one would be for Lugia. I have no idea. Maybe it could be like a game mode as well. But I would love to see a theme surrounding Lugia for a new map. That would be sick. Next one really hurts my soul. Luxray. What I won't ever forgive Pokemon Unite for is how long it has taken to add Luxray into the game. There is absolutely no way it's not coming. I refuse to believe it. Luxray is the best Pokemon in the whole entire world. It is an electrical type Pokemon, and all of its evolutions are chef's kiss. It's perfect. Anyways, Luxray is my favorite Pokemon, so I absolutely need it in Pokemon Unite. You know, there is always a chance that a Pokemon from the list might not come. I would be so angry. Like, you made it this far, you can't just forget Luxray. You can't. It's illegal. I won't allow that. Then we have Corviknight. Listen, this Pokemon, all I remember is that it carried me away in Sword and Shield. I didn't realize it was so popular. Not that it doesn't deserve it. I think this Pokemon looks sick. It's flying and steel, and it's the strongest bird in the Galar region. It'll probably have some sort of intimidation tactic. I honestly think it might be a defender or an all-rounder if it comes to the game. You know, maybe these could be the unlucky 8 that don't make it to the game, but I'd be shocked because there is only 8 left. There is no way they will stop here. No way. As I said earlier, Metagross is another leak that is possibly coming to the game as well. I am so excited for that if it does. I just like that I get to know these Pokemon, even though I haven't really paid attention to them before. But like, for example, Greedent is a Pokemon that I've grown to love a lot. Okay, so Meowscarada, we got to see a bit of gameplay here from the Pokemon Unite Japan YouTube. We have the dash that it does. It's like a shadow dash. Oh, okay. We're gonna see some gameplay. What? That range is crazy. That was so far. I need to see how they did that. So he throws the clone back towards over there. It does a little dash as well. And then that is such huge range. Okay, so we see more of that dash. That dash is really interesting. We see the skills here as well. Basic attacks are just like claw attacks, which makes sense with the cat. It's showcasing the dash really, but it looks really... Oh, okay, what is this? It puts a little like cactus flower on Machamp. I was gonna say Meowchamp. My dang pun brain just can't give it a rest. And it explodes. Oh, it's using Greninja's Shadow Clone thing as well. I think it's just not an updated thing yet because it's early. Okay. And then it explodes. That is 1,400. That is sick. Zoroark. That's amazing. I think it's not too much of a gameplay here for Meowscarada, but it was just a little bit of a sneak peek to see what we can. That explosion thing is definitely new, something I haven't seen before. Yeah, then we just got more gameplay and gameplay. That is really interesting. Huge thank you to my Patreons for supporting me, and thank you trainers for watching me. If you want to support through my Patreon and get some sick benefits, the link will be down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.